Tonight on Next Generation Conservative, Republican infighting over illegal immigration. Do people seriously think we lost the election over illegal immigration? We'll discuss the myths over this tonight.
I am America, one voice, united we stand. I am America,
The Republicans are still trying to figure out why Mitt Romney lost against President Obama in the recent election. The head of the Republican Governors Association and Governor of Virginia, Bob McDonnell, believes that immigration is the reason why Republicans lost in 2012. Governor McDonnell argues that the reason Republicans lost was because of immigration. He argues that Republicans need to focus less on deportation. If Governor McDonnell was right, and Republicans did lose because of immigration, then how do you explain why President Obama won after 4 years of acting as a hardliner in regards to immigration and deportation? This past August, the Washington Post published an article explaining that President Obama is already on track to deporting more illegal immigrants than President George W. Bush. They argue that Obama is deporting immigrants faster than President Bush. And they explain that as of July, President Obama has deported 1.4 million illegal immigrants since his administration, which is 1.5 times more than President Bush deported. So President Obama has proven that he's a hardliner when it comes to deportation of illegal immigrants. So I'm just baffled that Republican leadership is arguing that Republicans need to change course on immigration. It's so clear that immigration is not what's causing Republicans to lose elections, because if that was the case, why are Democrats who support the exact same policies getting reelected? When trying to pinpoint the reasons why Republicans lost in this election, we have only to look at the Democrats who won and how they won. One good example is the recently elected California representative Raul Ruiz, who recently beat a long-term Republican representative, Mary Bono Mack. Now, Mary Bono Mack has been a representative in the House for 14 years. Now, she was considered someone who was going to win this election as well, because incumbency usually, long-term incumbency usually means that one is going to win re-election. However, she lost touch with the base. Well, what was the base? There was a large youth and Hispanic voting bloc this election, and they voted for Raul Ruiz. Now, many are arguing that Raul Ruiz won because he focused on the issues that the youth and Hispanics care about, and that was health care, and that they would be eligible for the Affordable Care Act, or otherwise known as Obamacare. So, does that mean Republicans should change course on that issue? No. What it means is Republicans need to figure out ways to reach out to these communities and argue that the status quo is not benefiting them. The Affordable Care Act is going to raise premiums for health insurance, and it's going to cause employers to pay more for health insurance, which, what does that mean? That means less jobs for people who are just entering the workforce. So what is something that the youth vote is going to be looking at, especially if they're recent college graduates, is, am I going to get a job out of college? Well, one can make then the argument, a strong argument that could be used against Democrats that are going to say, hey, look, you can go out and we're going to get you free health care. Now, of course, they're going to vote for that person. What's the great argument against that to get their support? Say, okay, that person's is promising you, yes, you'll have free health care. You'll have your health insurance covered. But what does that mean in the long term for a job? What it means is, yes, you're going to have health care covered by your employer, but if the employer has to pay more for health care to be covered for every employee that they have, that means then they're going to hire less workers because they have less of an income coming into them. So what does that mean for you? So yes, you'll be covered with the health insurance from your employer only if you get the job, and chances are you're going to have a lot harder of a time getting that job. Now sure, there's Medicare, there's Medicaid, and you can always go on one of those programs, but don't you want to go out and start working and make enough income so you can live the American dream? That's the message that the youth vote wants to get. That's the message that the Hispanic vote wants to get. And that's the message that Republicans need to start focusing on and reaching out to the youth vote, to the Hispanic vote, to all Americans, and arguing against these ideological arguments made by liberal Democrats. So in the end, it's not the Republican stance on immigration that's the problem. When we look at it, Republicans and Democrats have the exact same message when it comes to immigration. That you have to come here legally, and they both share that. Whether you can disagree with it, but look at the facts. President Obama is a hardliner when it comes to deportation. So on this issue, it's not so much Republicans needing to change course on their message, but how they are getting that message across. They need to focus on reaching out to other communities and explaining that the promises made by the Democrats might sound good in the short term, but in the long run are bad for the country and bad for the individual. In fact, since these companies have to pay more for insurance, that also means that they might even have to not only cut pay or cut the number of workers they're hiring, but that might also mean open up the door for layoffs, which is going to increase unemployment. Just look at companies such as Hostess, which has gone under. I mean, we saw that because of unions, but what were unions arguing? That the employee had to pay more for the workers, whether that be on health insurance, whether that be in the pay. When it comes down to it, if the companies don't have the money to pay for the workers, they're going to go bankrupt. And what happens when they go bankrupt? Workers lose jobs. That's the message that Republicans need to get out. So in the end, what is that core message that we have to get out? Democrats are hurting youth of this country. Democrats are hurting the Hispanics of this country. Democrats are hurting, name any ethnic group, name any gender. Democrats are hurting them. Because when it comes down to it, people in this country want to work. The promises made by the Democrat Party are not sustainable, whether that be on the federal government level, on the state level, or even in the private sector. They're just not sustainable policies, and it's going to drive jobs away from this country. It's going to cause unemployment to grow. So in the end, Republicans need to make sure that that message gets across. Now, I know this is a really challenging task that we have. It's hard to argue against the Candyman because the Candyman mixes it with love and makes the world taste good. Now, just because the world tastes good doesn't mean that it's total crap. I mean, what we're taking in is absolute total crap. And it's going to rot the country from the inside. And if we don't have the jobs because we decided to sugarcoat the issues by offering various proposals that may look good on the outside but hurt America from the inside, that's not going to get us anywhere. That's going to bring us down the road of Greece, down the road of Spain, down the road of many countries within the Eurozone, which are having so many issues because of all these social programs that they are spending, that they don't have the money to fund. So that's the main message of this video that was put up tonight. I hope that you enjoy it. I hope that you've learned something from it, and I look forward to feedback. Please feel free to send me feedback. I love to hear your comments. I love to hear if I'm doing a good job, if I'm doing a bad job, what you like about this, what you don't like about this, just so I can help improve this video, because I really want to make these videos something to definitely reach out to the American youth, or to anyone of any age. And I think that together we can really make this happen. And I encourage you also to post any comments to any of the issues discussed or any issues that you feel should be discussed on this program. So like, subscribe, comment, whatever else you'd like to do. Tell your friends, and I hope that you stay tuned to this, and we're going to continue the good fight. Now, before signing off tonight, you might have noticed that American gymnast Michaela Maroney recently met with President Obama, and according to a White House photo, Michaela and Obama are not impressed. No, I'm not impressed either. I'm not impressed that we re-elected a president who is bringing us forward off the fiscal cliff. So no, Michaela, Barack, I'm not impressed.
There is still work that must be done.